new here, my name's Sandy and I do crafts. If you're coming back again, thanks for hanging out with me. So, today I'm starting something a little different. I have not finished a project. Oh, and just because I heard him, a little disclaimer. If you hear paws tapping on hardwood, possibly even a bark or two, or a chirp, it's because I have pets. So, you know. Yeah. And there's the pause trying to figure out who I'm talking to. Just talking to myself backs. We're doing something a little bit different today because I have not finished anything. I'm in the process of moving. You know, moving is stressful, and when you move in a different country too, it's just really annoying because things that you kind of take for granted of doing things one way in your own country become just so different in another one. And yeah, at least I'm doing it in the same language. So yeah, I am wrecked. I am so tired. And I don't have the mental space to finish something, let alone finish it and then make a video and then edit it. So you know what I mean? And my editing's not even that good anyway, but it is so mentally taxing. Yeah, so today instead, and probably for the next little while, I'm just gonna sit, because I don't have a lot of friends who craft, and so for me, being able to talk about my projects and hopefully finding people who are interested in them and who enjoy the same kind of thing and who get some benefit of it really means a lot. Yeah. And also when you can only talk to two people, when you're making something really cool, you want to tell everybody all the time. And when you only have like two people to do that, there he is. No, it's a bit, I just want to talk about the stuff I'm making, honestly. So, okay. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I do put some stuff in the front of this, it's probably going to be Baxter as well. And I took the train up to Dublin on Tuesday. And yeah, so I brought my knitting. So I'm working on, I have this yarn that I hand dyed. It's the base of it is Lana, Grossa, Seta, Mulberry lace, I want to say. Lace Mulberry. I don't know, but it's beautiful. It's 35% silk, 35% alpaca, 30% wool mix. And it, yeah, it just checks all my boxes. It's so drapey. It's so beautiful. And I dyed it. I was doing a Craftsy class called Professional Yarn Dyeing at Home, where you just basically learn professional yarn dyeing at home. It's a good class so far. I'm kind of stuck because I couldn't find sock blanks, so I'm like knitting them up myself because I don't know why I'm doing it, to be perfectly honest, because I'm insane. But yeah, so it just goes through how to like dye yarn at home and get good results. So this was the silk, and obviously I couldn't get 100% silk yarn just because of budget and honestly a little bit because of availability. So yeah, so I went with this, and it's so drapey. That's not how it goes. I want it to kind of cover my shoulders because we have a balcony at the new place, and I just like the idea of having something kind of always by the balcony to just run out, put over my shoulders, so I can sit and we can like watch the sunset while having a glass of wine whenever it happens. But anyway, yeah, so also Shannon Makes, who I'll link her below, does a thing called Cape Timber every year. And last year I was going to sew a cape, but then life. So it didn't end up happening. And I wanted to do it this year, but sewing when you're moving is really difficult because, I mean, sewing in general, if you don't have a dedicated space to sew, it's something that you kind of have to take all the way out and put all the way back all the time, and it can be very just like, you know? So, I've decided I'm going to kind of just pause sewing until I get into my space. And in the apartment, I'll actually have like a dedicated space where my sewing machine can stay set up and I don't have to do it at like the table where I have to constantly take it up and take it down and da-da-da-da. So that's exciting. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot more knitting, but luckily, I thought I wasn't going to do Cape Timber this year, but luckily she teamed up with a fiber artist, and so they're working together, so they're allowing like shawls in. So I originally had a cape called the Slate Shawl that I love the pattern, don't get me wrong, it's stunningly beautiful, but it actually prompted me to make a new policy where if you have to take something apart 3 times, it's probably too difficult and I need to find something else. So, and by you, I mean me. So it's, yeah, so I did it, I tried, I took it apart probably even like 4 or 5 times, and I don't think there's an issue with the pattern, but, because there was like never a row without a mistake, and I think it was me, because I've never done lace knitting. Well, I've done like a bit, but I've never done both side lace knitting, and it's not something I do a lot. So I went back and I found this shawl that's called the Syyslaulu. It's Finnish. I'll link it below. Even if I look it up, I'm probably not going to say it right. So, yeah, so it's just basically right now I'm on the garter section and the expanding section. So it's really just honestly so easy. Like I said, I took it on the train. It was great for that. And then there is a simple lace section after, which I'm really excited about. I think it's a little like, again, a simple lace, so I think I can get it. It is like a 2-side lace, I think, so I will have to like think, but at the same time, I'm really happy with it because it's just going somewhere. I feel like I'm actually getting progress done, and yeah, like I'm just so happy with this pattern. It's turning out so well, and it's just, yeah, and also like I don't knit shawls that often. I think this is probably the second shawl I'll have ever knit, so yeah. But what I did notice on the train that was a little just like, oh my god, my headphones and this are like the same color. I know they look different when they're like side by side, but I hadn't had my coffee yet. Because this train was booked like at a time before I would usually wake up. And I pulled my headphones out of my bag, and I guess I got a piece of yarn with it, and it took me like, and I hadn't had a coffee yet because I was gonna have my coffee on the train. It was like sitting there on the seat. And I was just like, that doesn't, like, look at how similar that is. I was like, that doesn't feel right. And it took me like a solid minute. So anyway, I had my coffee and it was fine. It wasn't. I was exhausted the entire day, but I made it work. Yeah, but that was really good. Like, I'm just so happy with this project. We'll see what happens when I get to the lace. I also like that you can make it bigger or smaller. So I'm not at the point yet where I have to start doing the lace, but you can do as many lace repeats as you want. You can do as many, as long as like the math works out on the garter stitch to how large you expand it. So I don't know, I'll see, because I do want the like, yeah, I want to wrap my shawls around it. I also only have like 200 grams of yarn. So I think with the counts it works out. I have an extra 100 meters. So, I mean, I'll see how far that gets me. But yeah. And it's not like I can dye more of this up because I wasn't taking notes, because that would have been the smart thing to do, and it's not where we're at in my life. Another one where I didn't take notes is this other knitting project. So this is another Craftsy class. This one's the Boho embroidered sweater. I want to say Annie Lepton designed it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll link it below anyway. Craftsy, I don't know. I know Craftsy got bought by TN Marketing, which are the same people who own National Sewing Circle, which isn't my favorite to say the least. But I think Craftsy is worth it if you liked some of the content they had before. So I'm just kind of at the point now where I'm cycling through all the classes I did or I wanted to do before. And they did take away a lot too. So yeah, pretty much all the classes I wanted to do before I'm going to do. And then I'm just gonna not do Craftsy anymore. And you can share memberships now. So like it's good because now Adam has his own account on my membership, which is nice. So he can watch the photography stuff as well. I love the concept of Craftsy. But I just, yeah, TN Marketing, I don't know. And I don't think it's as bad for me because I kind of go into life with the expectation that everybody's going to steal my data. Like, I would honestly at this point be more surprised if a company didn't sell data. So I think for me it's not as like, it's not as much of an issue on that side because I just know what's gonna happen. But at the same time, what I don't like is I mean, they're not putting out the new content on Craftsy. It's kind of awful. Like, it's not awful, but it's just, you can tell it's not at the caliber. I felt like when Craftsy was owned by Craftsy, and even to an extent when they were owned by, I think it was NBC, there was good content. There was a focus on putting out quality content. And it was very like craft led. Whereas I feel like with TN Marketing, it's really obvious the goal is to just get as many signups as possible. And it kind of sucks because I think Craftsy did have a really good name. And I think they just kind of, you know, threw it under the mud. But anyway, this class was when Craftsy was still Craftsy. And I love it. It's the embroidered boho sweater. So again, I bought this ages ago. I did a big Lovecrafts order before Brexit so that I could make sure to get everything I wanted because I just didn't know what the situation would be getting stuff into Ireland. So, you know, and I'm happy I did. So this blue, by the way, is a lifeline. It's not a part of the sweater, but it's a really cute sweater. It does, she calls them, it's German short rows, and she does it with this increase she calls the invisible lift. I don't think it's as invisible as other increases, but that's just my opinion. You know, I do have a couple issues with this pattern just in that she claims it's a beginner pattern and that it's good for your first sweater, but there's just little things that I think she neglects to mention. So for example, like the armpits, you don't add an extra stitch and there's this hole here. Well, I've done a bit of sweater knitting and I've done enough knitting and watched enough people knit to know that this you can just sew up after and it's not a big deal. But imagine if this was your first sweater and you saw that, you'd be freaking out. So I just think little things like that, like it's, again, it's not an issue in pattern writing. I just hate when things say like, oh, it's okay to, that this is, or this could be your first sweater, or this could be your first da 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 da. And I feel like even if you mark it beginner or like total beginner, you need to spell, I think you have the responsibility to spell every single little thing out. So, yeah. And I just feel like she hasn't in a way. So, you know, it's, yeah. I don't know. I just felt like that should be mentioned. And she did say you could do this after doing the startup library knitting on Craftsy, which I've actually done because I wanted to see if it was good. And it's good. Like the instruction is there. I'm not super fond of the projects. But again, they don't make a sweater, so they don't mention little things like that are specific. So I don't know. I just feel like it could have been a little more detailed. But I do like this pattern. I might give it a tea bath because I think the color needs to be just a little bit warmer to look really, really good on my skin, but we'll see. I have the colors for the embroidery. And so right now, oh yeah, so anyway, so I didn't know how much yarn I had because I don't know which size I bought this for. And yeah, so my theory is I could do a crop sweater, and I think a crop sweater looks really cute, but I wanted this to be long sleeve. Like that was my priority. I wanted a long sleeve sweater. So I did the sleeves first. Like I kind of got to the point where I joined the body, did a bit of work on the body. So I had like something there. I think I did it to like here. And then once I was done that skein of yarn, I went and set out to do both sleeves. And then that way now I can just go and see how much I actually need. So yeah, this is, the yarn is the MillaMia Naturally Soft Aran. It's 100% merino. This wool is like yummy. It's like a cloud. I did have an issue where I think I was making a water drop and I just like threw it in and I guess it splashed. So I had to stop, cut off a skein and wash that bit of the yarn because I'm like, it was the smallest little drops of pink. But I'm like, oh, I'm going to see it and it's going to bother me. So it needed to be done, you know? But yeah, so there's that. I don't know. I like the cream, but I think it needs something. At least it doesn't match anything. Honestly, that was my only thought on the train. I was just like, these people are going to think I really, really like this pink. And I do, but not like everything in my life needs to be that pink. Anyway, so that's the knitting that I've done so far this week. And again, knitting has sort of become my primary thing just because I can do it really easily, even if I just want to like get out of my head and watch TV while I do it. So yeah, I'm a TV knitter through and through. I have done a bit of embroidery though, so I've gotten this far. This is the Kiriki Press Summer Sampler. So if you've never seen these, Kiriki Press, she's out of Toronto, and you get these samplers. She used to have a of the month club, but she stopped that, which broke my heart. And like the same week as Wine Club stopped, and I'm like, those were my two favorites. Like my heart was broken. But yes, this is the summer one. So the concept here is kind of, you'd practice the stitches on the outside, and then once you kind of have a grip on them, you can go in and fill it in. So you do the couching, then you do the couching, and then like you do the, I think the next one on this one was the lazy daisy, then you do your lazy daisies, and then French knots, you do your French knots, your padded satin you do, then yeah, so it's all in. And you can either frame it in like, I think a 5 centimeter hoop, just around here, or get more of these, this size, and do the whole thing. I like doing it with the stitches here because I think it's kind of cool to see that, these are my woven picots. I'm really proud. I'd never done this before and I was terrified, but I'm really proud of how they turned out. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool to be able to see, oh right, that's the pin, to see the stitches and find them. Yeah, and I think it just adds a very like handmade-y look. Yeah, so my kind of goal, what I want in the new apartment is I want to have a wall of just embroidery samplers and even some in the guest room. So then as the seasons change, I can kind of switch them out and make it always like relevant and pretty. And then also in the guest room for like people with certain interests. So like if I know, like I have friends who love Halloween, so I can like, no matter what time of the year, throw some Halloween ones up. Yeah, so after this, since I am almost done that, I just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more woven picots. I was talking to Adam and I'm like, oh yeah, that should be done in like 4 or 5 hours. Like it's almost done. And he was like, that's not. It's like, oh, you've never done embroidery. So I kind of pulled some of my like fall themed ones. That's good too, because you can see what the kits look like if you've never seen them. I have literally every one she's made. Except the newest constellation ones, because again, I love these. I think they're the greatest thing and I really want to master the craft. So I have this one is kind of my front runner for the one to do next. It's the moth. I know a lot of these stitches, but a lot of them are like modified. So like there's the whipped fern instead of just the fern. The top one, the outline stitch, looks a bit like a kind of backstitch vibe, but different. So there's that one. I have the two kind of, in my opinion, Halloween ones because I kind of want like a fall vibe. So there's the sugar skull for the Dios de los Muertos and the Victorian house. This one I think I'm going to save though because a lot of those stitches look like things I've never seen. So I think I just want to up my skill levels a bit, except stem stitch. I can do stem stitch. But on the bottom there, that floral lace, I mean, that is stunning. Is it going to focus? That is stunning, but I kind of want to be a bit better. And then I also have this forest floor, which I think is cute. I love mushrooms. And yeah, I think that I think is the newest one. Then I have the sweater, but I think that might be a little more winter. And then I actually have autumn. So this one's summer. And I've done spring, and I seem to be hooping them up at the start of the season and then taking all season to finish them. So part of me is like, should I just do this one and carry on the tradition, or should I do the moth and kind of gain some confidence? So let me know what you think. Honestly, yeah, like I want to do them all. That's my issue with life, is I'm just not a patient person. I don't even think I know any patient person. Like, I don't think anybody can be truly patient. Honestly, I think about things that you love. If you're passionate, you kind of want it done. But anyway, tell me what you think. As for acquisitions, I've only gotten a couple things because I've been trying to be good about shopping lists. But this came out in paperback and I had to get it. It's the 52 weeks of socks. So there's kind of like a sock pattern for every week of the year. And it's a beautiful book. It's by Laine, which I think is a French magazine. It's so pretty. So yeah, like you get that and the pattern. And I mean, look, I would love to do a pair of socks every week for a year, but I just don't know if I'm there yet. But what I can do now that I have the book is I can start collecting yarn for my 52 weeks of socks and getting some practice in. So maybe not next year, but the year after I'll be able to do it. And yeah, because I mean, some of them, like, they're different yarns, but a lot of them, and I mean, do I need 52 pairs of socks? Yes. Also gifts, and there's some slippers, and just, yeah. So, I mean, I need to collect. But if I can do that and have, like, a good, and then, like, do some hand-dyed one as well, like, I mean, I could be making some good socks. And then I'll get good at lace, and I can make the slate shawl. See, it all... But anyway, even if I just don't do the 52 weeks and I just slowly work through them and see how long it takes me, I mean, that'd be nice too. Even if I just look at it and dream, that's well worth it because it's a pretty book. I love books and I love crafts, and when they combine, like, oh, okay, now we're about to talk about the most dangerous book I've ever bought in my entire life. This, I got it at Vibes and Scribes because it was €10, and we were just like picking up thread. But it was €10, and that's a really big book for €10, so I had to get it. And I thought, even if it like sucks and I just keep this on the coffee table, like, it's pretty, you know? This book does not suck. This is dangerous. The book is a problem. So what it is it goes and you, like, okay, baskets. So it gives like a history and then some contemporary artists and then some like overview notes and a tool list and then like basics and project ideas and then like an actual project to make. And it has 33 crafts. It's an easy read. It's really well written. I think it was so cheap because I think these guys might have been like something in Australia, and then it's written by Ramona Berry and Rebecca Jobson. I think that they might have been something in Australia, and then they like stopped their collective or their business, so now it's discounted everywhere. If you can get your hands on it. Yeah, because it's handmadelife.com.au, but I tried going there and I couldn't find it, so maybe I don't know. But anyway, if you can find this book, get this book. It is amazing. And like I said, it's really well written, but it's a lot of information, especially in terms of like, and not even a lot of information. What it is you get this information and it makes everything seem so like, I could do that. And then you just dream. And so I find if I read too much of it, my dreams get muddled and I don't get ideas. It's very inspiring is what I'm saying. Like last night I read about ceramics, and I mean, could I make all the tiles and redo my bathroom? I mean, I think it'd be hard, but I don't think it'd be like it'd be achievable, you know? And gilding also. I could make the tiles and then I could gild them and I could do the entire bathroom gold. That's why I don't live alone, because I need somebody to tell me no. But it would be cool. Like, it would be so cool. I don't know. I love this kind of thing where they give you all the different crafts and then how they interplay together. And it's beautiful. I think it's got 33. It says 170 inspirational project ideas. Oh yeah, that's that. I don't know. I think there's 33 different like kind of crafts in here. Honestly, if you can find this, get it. It is worth its weight in gold, especially if you can get it for €10 like I did. I love this book too much. I'm like, and that's another thing too, is I'm almost finished it and I don't want to be. Like, I want this book to last forever because but I also want to do the projects. So I don't know. I think like I love making clothes, but I also think I need to kind of branch. My issue is I love doing crafts, but I want crafts that are useful and functional. I don't want things that'll just sit, especially now as I'm moving and I'm getting rid of stuff. I've realized like all the jewelry I've made, I'm getting rid of. Like, I'm going to take apart and make into something else because I don't really like anything I've made. So I'm trying to get away from that attitude. I want to be a bit more mindful about what I make and a bit more, yeah, just more mindful and a bit more into the, yeah. So I think I do need to be a bit more careful, but at the same time I want to make everything. But tiles would be good because I could redo my bathroom. Even just the backsplash. If all I get is the backsplash of the kitchen. I don't know. I mean, this is why stuff like this is dangerous, but I love it because isn't it nice to dream and be inspired? So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. Thanks for hanging out with me. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this little chatty style. Again, like I don't anticipate myself, even the summer sampler, I don't anticipate myself finishing that this week at all. Like I'm swamped. I'm mentally exhausted. I haven't been sleeping. Like, I am burnt out beyond belief. So, you know, I think it might be like this for a while, so hopefully you like it. I mean, it is very knitting podcasty, but then at the same time I do a lot of not knitting, so I don't want to like call myself a knitting podcast. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think, especially about which embroidery sampler I should do next, because sometimes if I know I have something ready to go that's decided, it motivates me to get things a little faster. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll hopefully see you again. Have a good week. Bye.
Flat nose. Wait, no, flat nose. Get it.